with you. This ain't how it's supposed to be. You don't act the same with me. No, I can't keep playing the fool. I'm done with you. I'm gonna pack up and leave. Then you wanna beg for me. No, I can't keep playing the fool. I'm done with you.
Woo, welcome back to the second hour of LoveBabz, LoveTalk. I'm Babz Rawls-Ivy, and it's Monday, and I'm in the Elm. Monday. So, April is National Poetry Month. My favorite thing. I am a poet to my core, and I've been writing poetry since I started this writing group with my friend Jill, who lives in Ohio, and we meet every Sunday at 11, and we spend an hour writing. And I have taken up to writing poetry. I don't know, we've been doing this for months now. And she takes up writing various different things. And it's been such a joy to sort of commit time to something that I love so much. But I'm going to invest in taking a poetry writing course with Inga. She sent me the link. I'm gonna join her poetry class and learn a few things. Old dog, new tricks. That's what we doing. But anyway, so in honor of National Poetry Month, every day I'm gonna just put some poetry out there for y'all by various people who I enjoy, I dig. Y'all know I got personal favorites, I've got new loves. Right now, I've been enjoying Yolanda Seeley Ruiz, whose Love from the Vortex has really walked me through a very difficult and painful uncoupling with somebody, I guess I could say. You know, we're still friends, but the level of intensity that we were to each other is dissipating, I think, or at least I'm doing my best to dissipate it. But anyway, that this book walked me through putting words to my broken heart, right? And it is a broken heart, which is fine. It needed to be broken, and it needs to be rebuilt with some other boundaries and whatever. But this book was just grace. It was just such, and I just happened upon it at Possible Futures. I did not know this poet. There's a whole section of poetry at Possible Futures. I have a whole section of poetry here. But this was just grace. And I just want to read a couple of them that I've dog-eared, forever dog-earing pages. And some of these are pretty intimate, but you'll get the gist. So here we go. Permission. Oh, here it is. This is called You. Yes, you excite me. Thoughts of you interrupt my day and send my mind on unscheduled vacations. It's quite a challenge, you should know, for me to continue with the mundane and the trivial with visions of you are the competition. You, yes, you, have given me reason to believe that a woman should expect to be surprised by her emotions. You, yes, you, have caused me to smile when nary a joke has been told, to lick my lips just as the thought of yours, to tilt my head and imagine a midnight sky that doesn't stain of loneliness. You, yes, you, have awakened a mighty spirit in me, and you have done all this without the slightest touch, and certainly with no permission from me. I love that. I love it. Love it. Love it. And that really is that really is the that is it right there. That is it. That is it. Uh, find it quite moving. So, and I need to go back and look at her story because she wrote this book about all the lovers or the lovers that had such a lasting impression on her, and she and so she broke it up into sections by then. So so it's dedicated to for me and the six. So the six other brothers had such an influence on her. Um, she had to capture it. She had to capture it. And so it's broken up into sections: Joseph, Ian, Angel, Salvador, Zarin, Tyrone, and then other poems. So uh I just love it. This is like the best. So here's another poem that I dig, and it's dog-eared, of course. Uh More than friends. Something has certainly happened between this week, last between yesterday and today, within this last hour, minute, moment. Several hours of my day are spent thinking of you, what you look like, smell like, smile like. And I want to be near you, or that instant or that moment. Tell you that a friendship like ours can only remain if we agree to never look into each other's eyes. This woman knew what she was talking about. And I just found this body of work just what I needed in the moments that I needed it. Like, it's just what I needed. It just was like a balm. Because I mean, I'm a poet. I could have written my own tone to what I was feeling. But sometimes you just need somebody else to sort of pour salve on you. And this is really a balm. Sad, this is sad. Because when she wrote these things about these different lovers or friends or men, I could relate so readily and so clearly about, that feeling, that movement, and listen, I have been quite blessed to have loved some amazing men and not so amazing men, and I've been loved by amazing men and not so amazing men. And so I am not a woman who has not been worshipped or put on a pedestal or cared for or any of that stuff. Like I've been all those been lots of things to lots of men. And but this last go round did a couple of things. It made me sort of stand outside of myself and say, what am I asking this person for? Like what am I asking them for? And not by like literally saying what I want you to do, but me bemoaning them makes me ask myself, what is it that I wanted? What was I thinking? What was I hoping for? And I like, I tell everybody, I like when I have to wrestle with hard questions about myself and my feelings. I don't shy away from that stuff. I mean, I literally do not shy away. It's hard and painful, but that's okay. Like hard and painful is legitimate emotions. So anyway, these poems get right at the heart of, and I won't do all these poems all every week. Like every day there'll be different poems. Like tonight I'll just start pulling poetry books together, and every day I'll have some poems to read. Um and when I don't have guests, you know, at least get one in. And since I have time today and maybe tomorrow, we'll see what happens. But um I just thought this book was perfect in what I was feeling at the moment. And now I could just sort of read it with a different kind of, and now that now I'm past the initial hurt feelings, that I've already walked myself through all of that. Now I can look at these with a different I can look at this from a different place. You know, like when she talks about leaving the vortex, there's a whole poem on the vortex, and then there's one on leaving the vortex. And I could read the vortex and just be like crying in my beer, and then read the leaving the vortex as quite revolutionary and liberating. You know what I mean? So so that's what I mean. I didn't stay in the random, whatever for very long. It was a couple of weeks, right? And there's still remnants of that. Like I still feel some kind of way, but it is not it's not the same intensity of the initial whatever. And when I start to walk in truth and tell myself some truths, then I get farther and farther away from that heartache kind of stuff. Because I'm like, girl, when you start to tell the truth about a situation and you see it for what it was and see it for what it is, you cannot lament, you know. You cannot lament further. You just can't. Or it just be crazy. I'm not crazy. So once you get to the finality of it, once you like, oh, okay, this is this is it right here. Once you get to that, you're like, all right, let me move on. Let me move a little further about the cabin. You know what I mean? And that's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth. I do not feel the same as I felt a month ago about all this. Oh, now listen, it's still painful, and there is a longing there, but it's not ever present. It's not overwhelming. It's not it is not dragging me to the depths of hell. It's not doing that. No, it's something you just wake up one day and be like, oh, okay, all right. Oh, the sun is out. Where was I? Okay. So anyway, so this speaks to where I am, leaving the vortex. But I wanted to read the vortex, um, and not like leaving the vortex first. I wanted to, so that you could sort of see the so that you could see the evolution of things. I'm all about the evolution because if you see the evolution, then it becomes very clear. You're like, aha, right? You know that aha moment, like, wait a minute. Aha. And I have to find it now. Now it's gonna get on my nerves because I dog-eared all the pages, and now I'm like, okay, all right. You see, and it's a wonderful book, and it's a grown woman's kind of poetry book about relationships that have given you all kinds of whatever. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And if you're not having relationships that give you whatever, are you even living? You know, it's all right to have a broken heart. All right. As long as you don't let the broken heart break you, it's all right. I think we all have to, I mean, we all have to have a broken heart from time to time. That reminds us that we are feeling people, and I never want to be a not feeling person, you know. And I never want to enter into things for fear of having my heart broken. That's not it. That's not the reason why I wouldn't enter into stuff. That's not the reason. Because I'm all right, and you can be all right. Uh, you can be all right, and I want people to be all right. I do. Uh, But anyway, leaving the vortex. My passion for you is no longer useful now that you know my potential to love you. I will not slip again into sadness. I will not write streams of consciousness that spiral my heart into the vortex. I am grateful for the vortex. It has served me well. It is now time to leave it behind and discover what beauty awaits. And that, my friends, is the end all be all to everything. This is here and there. This is here and there. And that's how I knew I was done, right? I knew I was done when I got to that. When I got to that, I thought, yes, 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 yes. When I got to that. And and then when I let it like just hang out in my spirit a little bit, uh, I thought, yes. So the poem that set this off, the poem that set it in motion, that made me discover this book. When I picked this book up, this was the first poem I came across. So it was Kismet, I would imagine. Black Unicorns. I think ours is a different kind of love. One between two unicorns amongst the sea of stable horses. Not many, ourselves included, know to what depth this love can sink to, rise from. Are we a single moment tied together with a bird's breath? Or are we a spiral spinning into a lifetime? So I like that. That was the jump off. And then and then everything else was just grace, just and I still pick this up. As I do every book of poetry, I still pick them up. And even though I have my personal favorites, I go back to my personal favorites, and I learn something new. I learn new stuff. That's for a poem. That's an I've got some favorite poems right here. Who doesn't if you don't have some Pablo Neruda in your poetry stash, are you even reading poetry? You cannot speak of love without having this little beauty. This little beauty right here. If you are talking about love and you don't have love poems by Pablo Neruda, you don't have no love poems. And Pablo Neruda was born in 1904, died in 1973. So he's born in the town of Parral in Chile and began publishing his poetry in 1920. And from 1927 to 1943, he served as a diplomat abroad, returning to Chile in 1952. In 1971, he won the Nobel Peace Prize for Literature. So listen, you've got to listen. If you don't have these love poems by Pablo Neruda, I don't know what you're doing. One side is in Spanish, one side is in English. So you can just be badass. And if you can recite them in Spanish, even if you don't know what they are, on the next to it, you're good. Get the English translation. You get the English translation. Excuse me, my eye is itchy. Why? Anyway, so I'm gonna save my Pablo Neruda for another day. But I'm telling you, this is worth everything. Sometimes I slip it into my purse because sometimes I need to remind myself in a world that feels like it's devoid of love, to get some love in it by picking up a little Pablo Neruda. I've got Nikki Giovanni books too, because y'all know she is my great, 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 great love. I and everything that she writes, I devour with everything. And I can't say that I have all her books of poetry because I do not. Um, but I have a bunch, and I have albums, and I have CDs, I think. So, and then I have my friend Crystal A. de Gregory, the Bahamian. my Bahamian sister. Uh, I bought 2 books of hers. So there you go. Uh, I'll read some of hers later. But back to Love from the Vortex, which really I am just uh I love so much. And let me tell you a little bit about I can tell you a little bit about Yolanda Seeley Ruiz. She's a poet and an award-winning professor of English education at college at Columbia University. She's a literary educator for over 2 decades. She travels around the country speaking with fellow educators about race, culturally responsive pedagogy, and the power of love in education. She's the daughter of Elsie Seeley and the late Edgar Seeley, the sister of David and Donna, the mother of Olivia, and the best friend of Goldie. Yolanda is a woman who loves God and still believes in love. And I'm with you. I still believe in love too. And it doesn't matter. I don't concern myself with the broken heart part because time will just fix that. And time and just paying attention to understanding that you have a broken heart. Have a broken heart. Damn. Why is everybody trying to run away from a broken heart? Yes, it will drag you. Yes, you're low. Yes, you feel terrible. But I don't know of any other time outside of being in love and giddy that you are fully alive and human with these honest to God emotions that drag you from here to there. Oh, to be in love, it's got to come with something. And if your heart breaks, your heart breaks. And there's so many good poems out there that can are so many poems that are like stitches, you know, and your voice is like the needle. So you start to read to yourself and you start to mend and stitch that heart back together. And then you realize those words are like Teflon threads. You're just like Teflon threads. And then your heart just you just start to mend. And then the next thing you know, you're starting to notice other things that make you happy, and joy comes back into your life, and the day seems brighter, and champagne is sweeter, and your conversations are more intense, and your laughter is hearty. And that, my friend, means you're back in the world. Back in the world to take on new challenges, back in the world to sort of say, and I think that's what spring is. Spring is that renewal and the reminder that it comes back around, that love comes back around. Isn't that the joy? That's why I love this time of year because things start to bloom. Your heart starts to bloom. You start to open up. Winter is behind us. The desolate winter, the deep and brooding winter, when everything is dark and hibernating and everything is, under the covers. And then the next thing you know, the bright sun and spring and things are blooming and colors everywhere and fragrance is in the air. And the next thing you know, you're ready to do it all again, or at least dream about doing it again, you know, at least dream about doing it again. So this is why I like this book so much. This is why I love this book. And it has helped me tremendously. It really has. And uh and I'm just grateful that this guy put me in front of it. Really. I would have never picked this up if I wasn't sitting at Possible Futures feeling some kind of way and like struggling with my feelings and my thoughts and where did it go wrong and I think you should spend just a little bit of time on where did it go wrong. But and when I say a little bit of time, I mean get to the truth of it quickly so that you are not telling yourself a story that isn't true. So get to the heart of it rather quickly so that you can begin to use these words as a stitching for the heart so that you can get back to to the business of living and not lamenting. What I suggest. We spend so much time lamenting. We spend so much time, oh, if I could have been this and he could have been that, or whatever, or they could have been this and we could have been. No, 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 no. That's not getting to the truth. Get to the truth. Get to the truth. And own your part of the story. If you were a fool, say, you know what, I was a fool. Or, I saw what I wanted to see for as long as I wanted to see it. And now that I no longer see, now that I see the truth of things, oh, then I can no longer be like blindly into this, right? That's the truth, you know. So I'm just saying. Listen, I'm still in love with this person. That does not change. It's not going anywhere. It's still very much between us. But for me, uh, I just have to create a different sense of boundaries and a different sense of orientation about where I am in relationship to. And you could say that's self-preservation or whatever. I'm not hiding and I'm not being fully myself. I'm being fully myself. Whether I'm with or without, I'm fully myself. Fully myself. That's where I'm at. But the dynamics can change, and that's fine. And I think things could change. Things are changing. Things have changed. Uh, although recently I got a text that said, uh, I gotta read it because it's such a wonderful it's such a wonderful touche kind of thing that I just was quite moved by. And it just made me, it's the kind, those laughs that you're like, okay, touche. Tou touche, touche, touche. Uh, uh, touche. So here's a piece of Shakespeare from one of the sonnets. Love is not love which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. I know it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempest and is never shaken. That simply means you can take your little love away if you want to, but it's still there. I'm not gonna be moved, but you take it, whatever you think you do it. And I had to laugh. And then my reply was, "It is a star to every wandering bark whose worth unknown, although his height be taken." You know, point well taken. Point well taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickles come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. So, so anyway, there we are. There we are. Funny, funny, funny. So, so I feel freed. You know what I mean? I feel freed. That's okay. And that's a wonderful thing. And the love remains. Like the love remains. I feel free. The love remains. Uh, and so I owe Love from the Vortex and Other Poems by Yolanda Seeley Ruiz uh, as the therapeutic the therapeutic balm that I needed for that moment. And I try to look at something every night from this, or every couple of nights. It sleeps in the bed with me. But it's starting to move its way into another realm of my books, because I feel like I've gotten what I needed from it. And then when I come back to read it again, it will be from one of just not experiencing a broken heart and looking for a balm, but as someone who is like, I just like these poems. I and I dare say, had this book been out when I was a younger woman, this would have been my parting gift for brothers, for men who I was breaking up with or leaving or walking away from, instead of erotic noir. I think I would have given them that and given them this, like deuces. That would have been that would have been sweet. That would have been sweet. So, so there's that part. Yeah, there's that part. So April's National Poetry Month. I maybe try to get some poets on. My time on air this month is short because I'm off air starting the week of the 24th. Um, and then I'm on a plane on the 25th, 6th, a plane. And I'm, making my way to across the world to North Africa. And I got into a writing residency in Senegal. Talk about that tomorrow. Yes, I'm going to Dakar, Senegal in next February 2024 for about 2.5 weeks to do a writer's residency. And I'm so delighted and excited. I can't begin. I'm not thinking about it too much now. I'm overwhelmed with thinking about it because I got like a whole year to get in front of me, and I got to sit for the LSATs in June. So, yes, I'm excited about going to Senegal for this writers retreat, and I'll talk more about it tomorrow. But right now, it's far away and tucked away. I got other things in front of me that require my attention. But I did want to share that news. So I posted it up on Facebook, but it's out there publicly. So I'm excited. So I'm thinking about the things that I want to work on as a writer. And I looked at my writers app that I have. I spent some time on it the other day, and I was like, wow, 7 years ago I started writing in this app. I've not published one damn thing. I don't know if publishing is the goal. I mean, it ought to be the goal. Like it's low key the goal, but 7 years ago I started writing I started writing several stories, several different things, mostly believing that I was going to write memoirs, but mostly other nonfiction kinds of things and some fiction things and lots of fiction things. And so I'm going to pick that up again. So I just have to, there's so many things that I have to do. There's so many other things in front of what I say I want to do. There's so many things. But I'm thinking about Reverend Barber. 6 minutes. 6 minutes is all you have. And I am acutely, and I tell people all the time, I'm acutely aware of my mortality. And I've been so since I turned 50. I've been acutely aware of my mortality. And here I am 10 years later, I'm still thinking about mortality. Not morbidly, not like, oh, I'm ready to die. No, but just thinking about I have to do things that count and making everything count in the ways that matter to me and meaningful to me, not to anybody else, just meaningful to me. What's meaningful to me? So yeah, I'm excited by that. So yeah, so I'll talk more about it tomorrow, and then I'll leave it alone until it comes back around for 24, because that's when I go. And so I'm on my way out, but I'll be back tomorrow. Thank y'all for hanging out with me this morning on this fine April 3rd. We are into it, people, into it. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks, Harry. Thanks, Paul.
Hi, this is Babz Rawls-Ivy from New Haven, Connecticut, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, streaming live at newhavenindependent.org.
Sometimes I can't stand you, I hate you. Then sometimes I'm gonna miss you, I hate to admit but your love I can't forget. And it's sad cause I just was the illest, the realest. Find myself thinking about you, then I reminisce about you and how you do. Then I think about how I used to be a fool and naive to the went through. Instead you got a up late, tossing and turning, Henny in the cup, then it's burning. Man, I gotta get a grip, cause I can't keep living like this.
First it's this, then it's that.